All right, all right. I'd like to welcome everybody to the show tonight. Hope that you're doing well and that your family is safe and that we have to take care of ourselves. This thing they calling COVID-19 coronavirus 20119 is nothing to play with. We really have to take care of ourselves and keep our health up. So today we're going to talk about how do I know you to be one? That's today's subject. That's the topic of today's show. So I want to just wait till everybody begin to come on, and we're going to have this conversation because I think what happens a lot of time is that we really forget about what it is and in regards to Freemasonry and how we are able to communicate amongst our so and it's not going to be about your jurisdictions or anything like that. It's just going to come that time to where you find yourself in a situation and you're going to have to identify who you are, amongst those who don't know. So we're going to talk about that tonight. So if you want to call into the show tonight, that number is 619-985-1184. Like I said, tonight, the title of the topic we're going to be talking about is how do I know you to be one? How do I know you to be one? So definitely, so get your popcorn, sit back and relax, and we're going to talk about that because Masonry is very interesting. Being a part of the Eastern Star is very interesting. So tonight we're going to get into some of the signs, some of the symbols, and things like that that we as Masons talk about, recognize, and how do we communicate to each other at a time like this when you're not able to necessarily walk up to a brother you or a sister you want to grip them as such to identify. We have plenty of ways to identify who we are to those who know. And this is the beauty about being part of such a great fraternal organization such as the Freemasons. And and for those who have not been initiated into the craft, and I've heard, oh, it's a cult, it's Satanism, it's a whole lot of things. But to be part of this organization is a great thing. And I encourage any person who's looking to become a Mason, always go where you're welcome and accepted. And don't take anything for less. There are many jurisdictions out there. You just have to find the right one for you. Some may consider the next one to be this or that, but that's okay. That's not your fight, and that's not your battle. So don't get caught up in that. What I would suggest is that when you do find a place, wherever that place may be, enjoy the craft. Enjoy the craft and make sure that wherever you're at, that they're giving you wholesome advice. That's what they should be giving to you in regards to Freemasonry. And I hope that is definitely taking place. So I'm just sliding some things around here real quick, just really getting ready to set up. So wherever you may be at, I definitely want to welcome you to tonight's show. Um, and we're about to get it in. We're about to get it in. For those who have not yet been initiated into the craft, you might want to become a Mason, but don't become a Mason just because you want to get in, you want to learn these things and do that. Masonry is bigger than that. Masonry itself, being the organization it is, if you would take the signs and the symbols and the things that we press upon our members to use, it will help in life. It will. But what happens is we don't take those things. We don't. We actually misuse them. A lot of us do. A lot of Masons have misused the fact that they are Masons to do certain things that they wouldn't necessarily do if they weren't Masons. And you know exactly who I'm talking to and what it's really all about. You notice this is being a Mason is nothing to play with. It's something to be enjoyed, and the fellowship is real. But we have taken it and twisted it, and this is where we're at. So I just want you to just come on in tonight and let's have this fun. Let's have a good time with this. And we're going to see where this takes us because there are many roads. Let me tell you, for those of you who are Masons in the Eastern Stars, regardless of your jurisdiction, we're on the same road. It's just the idea that I'm going 10 east and you're going 20 east headed to Florida. Both of them taking you to Florida. They are. 10 east, if I leave California and I'm taking the 10 going east, or I take the 20 going east, I'm going to end up in Florida. They're taking me in the same direction, two different freeways, baby. And this is just like Masonry. Whether you, whatever your Grand Lodge may be called, or the name, or whatever letter it want to have behind it to identify itself, it's taking you the same direction. The ideal is what are you going to do? You know, how are you going to see this? You know, I think a lot of times we miss the beauty of Freemasonry by dealing with those who are not initiated into the craft. I believe that. I really think we do miss the beauty of it, because there are people who are not Masons or Eastern Stars that hang around people who are, and really they're there, to me, they're eavesdroppers, because they hang around you so much to when other people see you, they assume that that person may be an Eastern Star or a Mason. You just don't pay attention to how they grip you. I'm just saying, it's true. So I know people get upset at me. Oh, why is this brother talking like this? Man, look, I have seen documentaries on Freemasonry. They're showing everything. So what I'm talking about tonight, you can go look it up in a book. You can buy the book. You can do these things. The only thing that is different is being initiated. That's the difference. You could talk about being a Mason, but have you been initiated a Mason? That separates you from everything else, from those who claim to be and those who are really, and they even perpetrate, because they're not, you know, you find a lot of Masons ain't been to a Masonic meeting and God knows how long. And I guarantee you, if you QMA them right, they didn't forgot how their initiation. And most Masons forget the charge. Most of them do. The charge of a Mason is the most important thing that he's given at his initiation. But most forget. They do. And most don't go back and read the charge. They don't. And a lot of people may even call me. I've heard people say, "You're so divisive. You divide." That's not this platform. This platform is for any and every Mason or non-Mason or Eastern Star to come on and get information that's going to benefit them on their journey in searching for a lodge or a chapter that's going to be beneficiary to them. I know some people may feel, well, no, they won't be accepted if they go here, or they may not be liked if it goes there for them. Grown folks make grown folks' decision. It is not your decision. It is the individual decision to go where he chooses. If that brother or sister want to go to Modern Free or International, that's their decision. Just because they don't function or do the way you do and function doesn't mean that they're not irregular or clandestine. It doesn't mean that at all. You just don't accept them. You just don't recognize them because of the way they do their work. It's just like people who drive cars. I don't like the way my wife drives, but I'm in the passenger seat. I just close my eyes. I just close my eyes. Hell, she don't like the way I drive either. So just because we don't like the way each other may do business, that's none of our business, really. That's why I often say the best thing you can do is stay out the bushes and keep your eye on. You know, stay out of other people's business. Mind your own. Do what you're going to do to help grow your fraternal order. And what I'm finding in a lot of these chat groups, I don't say much, is that I find a lot of disrespect goes on between Masons. I'm putting it all out there, and you know I do. I just say, here it is. You know, most Masons want to sugarcoat it like we're this big happy family. We're not. Let's just be honest and say that Masonry is not this big happy family. However, individuals of very racial backgrounds and all makes the difference. That's where the joy is at. What's up? What you got? Ooh, wee. You don't want to bring it over here too? You don't want to come over here? We'll put that right there. Yes, indeed. Boy, I tell you the truth. You know, they say I shouldn't be eating and doing a show, but you know what? That's all right with me. I'm going to eat, all right? So with that being said, Oh, let me share what she brought me. Let me share. Yeah, there you go. She, the burrito thing, being in California, she know how to do that. Cut it up, boom, boom. Likes that. But anyway, so let's get back to the show. So what I'm saying is that we may not like the way another fraternal order do business, but it's their business. If you don't like it, leave it. Okay? If you don't like it, leave it. All I've ever said, all I continue to say is to respect the next person who's a Mason, who's an Eastern Star. Show them some respect. If you don't want to talk Masonry or Eastern Star to them because of their jurisdiction, how you may, don't. But you don't disrespect them. We're talking about healing a divide. We're talking about how Masons should carry themselves at all times with dignity and respect. I'm not saying that any of us is perfect, just trying to be perfect. You ever heard a degree called a perfect master? Just trying to be perfect. And here's the thing. In the process of trying to be perfect, there's a development process. There's a growth process. Somebody told me I'll never change. Well, apparently you don't know me too well. I've changed a lot. I really have changed a lot. I've changed in the mere fact of growth as a past Grand Master. And I don't mind saying this because some of you will never even really talk to your Grand Masters. I doubt if you even go to his house. But for me, as a past sitting Grand Master, the most wishful John G. Jones Grand Lodge of State of California, I've grown a lot. There were times I just wouldn't really talk to people about Masonry. I just wouldn't. But as I began to mature, especially when I was young, man, I was a firecracker. I knew book Masonry. Okay, let me put it to you that way. I knew book Masonry. And when I say I knew the book, I knew the language of Freemasonry. But as I matured into Freemasonry, that all changes with growth, where I began to respect others in my chat group on my community. When I post in the community section, he gonna tell me that, why, like I said, why was I being so divisive? That I shouldn't be divisive, and I shouldn't talk about PHA the way I talk about them. I told him, why don't he go over and tell the Flex Society the same thing? If you're gonna see me that way, you should go tell the Flex Society the same thing. That's my opinion. But tonight, not only are we going to talk about the Flex Society and how do I know you to be one, we're gonna bring up some other subjects in this show tonight. So let's move forward. If you want to call in, you're certainly welcome to do so. 619-985-1184. So as we who are Master Masons, as we who are into apprentices fellowcraft, as you are on your journey, my brother, and to my sisters of the Order of Eastern Star, those of you who are about to make the journey, those of you who have your applications in, please be patient with the organization that you have your application in with. Right now, lodges are not really meeting because of the situation at hand with the coronavirus, but then again, here's the uniqueness about Freemasonry and today's technology. You can have virtual lodges now where you can actually all meet, come on your little own personal chat and do your thing. There are many ways now that you can actually have that communication piece. But the uniqueness about Masonry and the fact about Masonry is that no matter what happens, Masonry is going to survive. It may come up under another name, but it will survive. It's gonna go down that way. So before I go any further, it's about where you feel best received. Absolutely, Brother Lewis. Just want to send everybody a big shout out and say hello to everybody. I hope that you're well. Hope that your family's well. I hope that, whatever type of work you may be in, whether it be security, whether you're working in the medical field, as I do myself, whether you are someone who's doing personal training, whether you are a beautician, whether you are whether you work as a healthcare provider in a nursing home, a skilled nursing facility, or you're doing private care, whether you're driving a police car or a fire truck, welcome aboard. Be safe. Okay, be safe. Because the way things look here in California, they're trying to really shut it down. I mean, literally shut it down. They closed the beaches. Ain't nobody going to the beach. They've closed parks and wrecks. I mean, they really locking it down. Now, here's the funny part. I would imagine that if the situation really got out of control, and I know brothers from various jurisdictions here in San Diego, how are we going to respond as Masons in the Eastern Stars? Are we still going to be going over 100-year thing? Are we still going to be debating who's right or who's wrong? Or are we going to really practice the true essence of Freemasonry? Are you going to really know how you are able to recognize one in the day as well as in the night? Because most of us won't be gripping. You won't be gripping. So how is it that a Mason without a grip can recognize another Mason? What is it about him or her being an Eastern Star that you can say, I know who she is, or I know who he is? I'm reminding you that there are some book Masons out there now. There's some book Masons out there that got this stuff on lock. So how are you going to be able to identify if that person is what you would call a legitimate Mason? Has he been initiated, passed, and raised? Has he been elevated through the York Rite or Scottish Rite? Is he truly sitting within the inner core of Freemasonry as a 33rd? How are you going to be able to identify who's who? Sisters of the Order of the Eastern Star, those of you who have the 5 degrees of the Herons, are you going to be able to do the same to identify those sisters who may have books and they can read pretty well, so they pretty well got the lingo down? How are you going to be able to detect whether that person is who they claim that they are without giving a grip? How are you going to do that? What is it about your initiation in the order or as a Mason that's going to say, no, no, no? See, that's what I'm saying. There is something special about the initiation process that is different than just reading a book. It's true. You can say what you want to say, call it what you want to call it. That's just the fact of the matter. There is something different about that. Hold on just a second. I got to get to someplace. Hey, everybody. Didn't want to get that. Oh, she's going into the other room there. But yeah, certainly. So this is how we gotta get with it. I'm trying to find something and I can't. I may be able to get it from here. Yeah, there it goes right there. Got it. So I'm back. Let's see. Your choice, Isaiah. Let's see what we got here. Just want to see what's going on. What's up, everybody? Terrell, are you back in the States, bro? I hope that you're okay, bro. I really do. This, yes, man, has the United States. Yeah, what? This converter has a U.S. It has a patent. Are you serious? Shabazz, don't be playing with my emotions, bro. Oh, wow. Now, if it has a U.S. patent, that's deep. That's deep. I'm going to cover my food up, cause I'm going to have to warm that up in a minute. But yeah, that's deep. That's deep. He says passwords and knocks. Bruh, no, I got something a little bit more special for you than passwords and knocks. If you're telling me that you're going to be able to identify somebody by passwords and knocks, and they got a book, not going to cut it. Not going to cut it, bruh. Because your initiation is more special. It's something about the initiation that others, you have to experience that in order to really in order to identify that person is who they claim that they are. That's my own personal opinion, because, most things are on a, look, there she go right there. There she go right there. Sneaking in, sneaking out.
Whatever.
So that's my thing right there. you know. So let's see what else we got up here. So I'm just saying, that's just my opinion. What's crazy is one of my new master masons had a run with one of his old friends, and he asked him, "Where you hail from?" And he told my brother, "Talk to me when you become pretty." See, you know what? Ham Grand Lodge of Omega. What's going on, brother? How you doing? I invited you to call into the show tonight. You know, if you want to call in, you know, you are certainly welcome to do so. And but that's the issue that we have, brothers, amongst ourselves. You shouldn't be treating another brother that way. You shouldn't do that. And I say that with all of my heart. We should not do that. We shouldn't. This is the ignorance that lies in us as people who are supposed to be enlightening. If you are an enlightened person, one who understands masonry right before your eyes, one who understands the 8 emblems of a master mason, you know, one who's trying to be a perfect master, okay, you out of all the people should not be doing that. Come on, come and holler at me when you ready. No, that brother is happy where he's at. If he's receiving all the rights, lights, and parts of that wishful lodge, he's in the right place for him. He may not receive the rights and lights and parts from your jurisdiction. No, he probably won't, because he wasn't initiated in your jurisdiction. He was initiated a Mason in another jurisdiction. However, upon his travels as a Mason, upon her travels as an interpreter, as an Eastern Star, she may have found those sisters of the order as worthy and well qualified as she is. And then they may have to go through a Q&A to identify. That may happen. Maybe he's found that brother to be worthy and well qualified as he is himself. And then they will have to have that Q&A, because a lot of people say there's no secrets in masonry. And that's the biggest lie that has ever been told. Yeah, I said it. Oh, well, Brother Hawkins, what's the secrets? Too many. I know. Brothers and sisters, let me tell you. And for those who have called me, and you know I told you, and y'all was like, oh man, I never looked at it from that point of view. You haven't, because probably you hadn't been told from that point of view. There are secrets in Freemasonry. Period. If you want to know after the show tonight, give me a call and I'll tell you. But first I have to identify. First, we're going to have to kind of get to know. I just can't just give it to you like that. But there are secrets in masonry. And for those of you who have had conversation about this very topic, you know exactly what I'm saying. That's not the number to call in tonight. Not at all. Hello? She's not in right now. Would you like to call back? This is, but I'm busy right now. Thank you. You can't sell me none right now. I can't go to Vegas, you know. Well, what are you trying to sell me right now? I think, oh, come on, man. I shouldn't even answer the phone. I should turn that one off. But anyway, there are secrets in the Masons. There are secrets in the Order of the Eastern Star. But the reason most people don't know that there are secrets is because they've never really been told. And it's not in your ritual. So don't even go looking in your ritual talking about, damn, what's he talking about? I'll tell you if you call me after the show and I can identify you some way. We're going to have that conversation. But yeah, I'll tell you. And for those who've called me and asked me that question before, I've given you that answer. You know, so you have it. Let's see what else we got here tonight. All right, I would have to ask, how many rings were you able to wear when you got your rings? I didn't wear any rings. I didn't wear nothing, brother. I was nothing. I know rings. You better not have on nothing when you come in there. I can only speak for where I'm at. Okay? When you talk about rings, you better not have an earring, a nose ring, a piercing, or nothing when you come in. You better not. Hey, bruh, it's true right here. Right here, where I'm at, yeah. I would tell you this. I'm gonna share this with you. In my jurisdiction, when we first open, we don't open like most lodges open. You know, when you hear when it's sound of the gavel, you now will be closed. You've heard that before. We don't get down like that. It's a little different here, and I'm glad that after talking with my grandmaster, he changed it. He changed it. He changed the opening for our jurisdiction. Yes, sir, he did. So when people say, well, you know what? We all the same. We all, no. Mm-mm. We're not all the same. We don't all open up alike. I visit other places and I was shocked too to learn and say, damn, no, we don't all open up alike. No, there are some differences, and no, our obligations are not all the same. But all obligations are the key to Freemasonry, the key to the Order of the Eastern Star. Okay? So how do I know one? How am I going to know one? To be one? How am I going to know? By signs, words, tokens, a whole lot of things going to be going on. But you have to do your own due diligence when you are communicating with a brother or a sister. This is how you're going to really know. And then, like I said, you got people out there that read books pretty well and can pass the part, but you're going to have to be able to break that down for yourself and to make sure that person is who they say they are, because there's going to come that time. Hear me clearly, because even now, with the way things are in California being on lockdown, man, it's an interesting time right now. This is an interesting time. Just imagine those individuals who was probably in concentration camps, those Japanese here in America who was in internment camps during their times, and let's say, for instance, that they were Masons or they was part of the organization. How do you think they communicated with each other? Do you think that they were found to have favor amongst the soldiers who had them in the camps? Do you think that? I'm just saying, because a lot goes on. Because we know, according to what we read in history books, those who were Masons and Jews at the time they was in the concentration camps were able to escape by those who were supposed to be their captors, but until they found that they were Masons, they helped them in their escape. That's a true story. We know that during the Civil War between the North and South, that at times when individuals were shot and killed, they stopped and had a Masonic burial for that brother, whether he was fighting for the North or the South. These are the things that we know. And there begins the great divide amongst Freemasonry in the United States. When you speak of mainstream Grand Lodges and their Scottish Rite body, they have a northern and a southern Scottish Rite body. They have two most puissant sovereign Grand Commanders that represents those bodies of jurisdictions of Scottish Rite, right? So, that being the case, then you must understand that during the time of the Civil War, that they actually split during their time. That was actually a great divide. Okay? So we got a history, and history itself teaches us these things. This is why, even for me, and I'm speaking for me, it's hard to accept some things when you know some people have done some foul stuff to you. And you can say forgive and all that stuff. Man, look, when some people have done some foul things to you and yours, it's hard to just ignore it. Do you think Most Jews just walk around and say, okay, whatever happened during World War II, we good? Do you think they feeling okay about that? They remind you about it every chance they get. I'm just saying, that's how I feel. I'm going to remind you about what took place. And I'm not forgetting. So as a Mason, it is not that I can't get past it. I'm just not forgetting about it. And some can say, well, if you don't forget about it, you ain't past it. No, it's a reminder to be cautious. It's a reminder to be cautious. That's something we're supposed to be at all times, to be cautious. To find and to, how it goes, to occupy our minds with useful knowledge. And then we're going to take that useful knowledge and then apply it. And then as we apply it, we can reflect upon a well-spent life as we sit down and reminisce in our age. I'm just saying, those are valuable lessons and tools that we can take and really look at for what they are. Be cautious. Apply the knowledge. Use it. Reflect upon it when you get a little older. You know, this is what it's all about. Yes, brother, I'm not playing with you. Oh, wow. That man, a patent? I did. I don't know. I'm going to leave it alone because you'll have me all off subject tonight. I'm trying to stay on subject. Look at, now there you go, put him the patent number. Oh, there you go. You had to put the patent number up there, didn't you? I treat all non-PHA brothers the same as a brother. Brother Teller, I mean, that's how you should be. Now, granted, most will not ever be able to sit in a tighter lodge with you. And you and I both know that, but that's just one of the parts of Freemasonry. The true essence of Freemasonry, is when you meet on a starry, covery deck, when you meet under the heavens, you know, if two brothers are outside talking and greeting each other as men, and it's outdoors under man, that's where we meet. That's where we meet. That's a fact. You know, that's just a fact. All right, let me see what else you got up there. Lam, you killing me, Muhammad. You was not supposed to give out the answer. Ooh, did I give out? I didn't give out the answer, did I? I didn't give out the answer, bruh. I know I didn't. I know I didn't give off the answer. So we can discuss the books, what's online. I will go ahead, and EA, who thought it would be a good idea to reset half the ritual back to us. Not sure some lodges, but we don't do it. Nah, bruh. Nope. He'd have got broke off. You know, not, you know, when I say he'd have got broke off, there's, you know, he would have, but you kind of see what I'm saying. I mean, you know, for an EA to come in and to be able to recite stuff back to you as you're going through it, nope. He gonna have to learn how to be cautious, and if he has the information, he's gonna have to learn how to keep his mouth closed. Simple as that. See, the experience alone would teach you some valuable lessons. You know, on this end of the spectrum, in this Grand Lodge, the experience alone would teach you some valuable lessons. We don't put our hands on nobody. Let's have some clear understandings about that. As a Mason, in your initiation process, nobody should be putting hands on you. No one should be putting hands on you, period. Not at all. Nope, not at all. Not one tittle, okay? What else we got? We've been doing our meetings over the phone. Now with that, with that shutdown, man. Look, not only are brothers having a conference call to make sure business get taken care of, Masonically. Now you could probably use Netscape, instant messenger, and Skype. There's so many ways that you can communicate with your brothers of the craft to make sure that the business of the lodge continues to go forward. But check this out. What if you can't get to your money in the bank as a lodge? Then what? See, I'm going to share this with you, and most of you probably already know. Most of the fraternal orders are incorporated. Most of them are non-profit. Freemasonry was never meant to be incorporated or non-profit, period. Freemasonry was never meant to be a non-profit organization or an incorporation. It wasn't. And you're probably saying, how do you figure that, brother? How? It was never meant to do business that way. This is why Freemasonry lost some of that glit and some of that glow. It was never meant to do business that way. Never. You can say what you want to say, but from some books I got, it was never meant to be that way. I talked with brother Dwight Muhammad over in the UK just the other day, and he was telling me about some of the things that are happening over there. And I'm like, bruh, it's deep. And I'm going to say this again. Freemason was never meant to be in a corporation or a 50c3, and it was never meant to be any of that. It was not. Well, let me explain it to you this way. Freemasonry, in its essence, was for enlightened people in the beginning. Based upon the information I have at my fingertips right now, what I've read, what I've gathered. I don't know what you've read, what you've gathered, I'm just sharing with you, okay? It was meant for the enlightened people. It was meant for people who thought out the box. It was a private organization. You was invited. You was invited to be a Mason or part of the mystery schools, as it was once known way, way back when. You wasn't, that is so true. There was no way for you to say, well, I want to be a Mason, I'm going to put my application in. No, it wasn't like that. It was not. Long beforehand, long before we know it as we know it today, it was not like that. No. This is why I say Freemasonry is truly a secret society. And some may say, no, it's not a secret society, it's a society of secrets. Either way you want to cut it. Tomato, tomato. That's just the truth. And that's the thing. What if it comes a time to where you're not able to get to your bank account, brothers, sisters? When it comes a time that you're not going to be able to, oh, my jurisdiction is this and mine is that. Then what? You're going to seek, you trust me, you're going to seek the help of another brother or sister. And you're not going to care what jurisdiction they're from. You're not. You're just going to be like, well, damn, I need some assistance. You know what? I can see brothers now doing things and throwing signs and all sorts of things. Just because, and you're not gonna care what jurisdiction that brother is in. You're not gonna care. You're gonna be glad that you received the help and aid because you found favor. That's why when brother Melvin Little was on here, he was talking about the Scottish Rite degree and how it's supposed to help and be in regards to humanity. That's what he was talking about, but some of us couldn't see it that way. We couldn't gravitate towards that. So, what is he talking about? No, he meant that. He really meant that. What else we got here? Let me just take some and see what else we got. You messed up the whole program, brothers. Laughing out loud. No, you know them Masons wear rings when they get there first. Let me tell you, I'm talking serious, but I got a smile on my face. There may come a time when I'm wearing this, I may not be able to wear this. I may have to take off the rings. Then what? Some of us got tattoos. You got the big Masonic tattoo on your chest, on your back, But I'm just saying, when that time comes, then what, brothers? Then what, sisters? Are we still going to be debating? Or are we going to see brothers of the craft and sisters of the order and go across the borders to assist and aid those who we find worthy and well qualified? Is that what we're going to do? That's what I'm called to do. I'm called to do that. Now, I don't know how you feel about me or about the jurisdictions or about anything, but as a Mason, I am called to do that for my fellow man. More especially my brother Masons. I am. That's the obligation I took. Now, I don't necessarily know what was in yours, but that was in mine. This is why I encourage all brothers and sisters of the craft to always show respect to others, brothers and sisters of the craft. You never know who you're going to need one day. You don't know. But for us to sit around and to debate and to get a headache over something petty like we've been doing, we got to do better. We have to do better. Together, we're so much stronger. I'm not talking about up under one umbrella. I'm just talking about working and networking together. See, there's a difference. When I say together, I'm talking about networking and building relationships togetherness. Some of you think about, oh, well, he's talking about one big organization. No. Grand Lodges are sovereign. I'm talking about building a network, okay, that's going to benefit the craft and the brothers from all jurisdictions. That's what we do. But most of us aren't ready for it. And I say most of us because we're hell-bent on destroying the next person. And this is why most of us stay where we're at, because we see what other organizations have said. We see what they've done and are doing. So we don't want to have anything to do with it. And this is the importance about building a fraternal relationship with another person who's a Mason, individually on that journey. And I believe for myself, for those who have talked to, those who I've seen and visited and come to your home, and you know exactly who I'm talking about, I feel that we have built that relationship. That's where I'm at with it. Because my word is bond. My word is all I got. I lean and I depend on my word. If I tell you I can do something, two things. If I don't complete the task, I'll tell you I can't. But if I can complete the task, I'm going to say, I got you. And I mean that. I got you. If you find yourself anywhere within 100 miles radius and I can get to you, I'm going to get to you. That's my word. Because that's all I got. If your word is nothing, you're nothing. I don't care what jurisdiction you're in. If you give me your word and then you snatch it from under me and I fall, your word is nothing to me. All the money in the world is not going to change the fact that you gave it to me and you snatched it back. Word is nothing. Your name is nothing now. And people don't realize how important when you talk to brothers of the craft and sisters of the order and you give your word to them. That's very important as a Mason, in my opinion. It's very important as a person who's supposed to be found worthy and well qualified. Your word is very important to me. This is the essence of knowing that you're talking to someone who's a Mason, to be one. This is how I know you to be who you say you are, by your word. Speaking for me, my own personal experience in life, and those who have come across as Masons and Sisters of the Order of the Eastern Star, I will guarantee you, there are many of us who are watching this show right now have been in places and have found favor of brothers from various jurisdictions who your Grand Lodge don't consider to be a Mason or Eastern Star. But because of who you were and who you are to them, you found favor. Don't tell me, well, he's a good person. No. You went because you knew who that person was. You knew that he was a Mason and modern and free. And I'm a Mason over here under the jurisdiction of John G. Jones. But he's still a Mason. So if he gives me the call, I'm going to see about him. That's me. That's how much love and respect I have for the organization. If I know a brother in Georgia, and he says, hey, look, can you do A, B, C, and D in California for me? I got you. If I can do it, I'm going to tell you, yeah, I can do it. No, I can't. But let me find out, can I assist you in finding the help that you need? That's truth. And this is a funny, true story. There was a mainstream Mason here in California. He called back to Chicago to some brothers who was in a non-recognized jurisdiction. I'm not gonna call out the Grand Lodge name. He asked them to go check in on his daughter that was on a base, I guess a training center in Chicago, and they did. That's what I'm saying. This is what the organization is all about. See, he didn't know them. He only knew them from their encounter upon Facebook and other actions in the encounter that they've had. But he didn't know them personally. He knew them because of their encounter through Facebook. That's how they met. This is a true story. This brother is a Mason under the mainstream Grand Lodge, California Grand Lodge. He reached out to a Grand Lodge in Chicago, AF and AM. Asked those brothers to go and check on his daughter that was on a Navy base there. They did that and gave him word back that say, we got her, she's okay, blah, blah, blah. Why did he not call up the brothers from Chicago, the Grand Lodge of Illinois? Why did he not do that? It was the relationship that he developed with these gentlemen, these brothers, that he trusted them to go do as he had asked them to do. And this is what I enjoy about Freemasonry. The relationships I've built with many of you who've called me, and I've called you back. And we've developed that relationship till I feel that, hey, if you was here in California and I can get to you, I would do that. And for those of you who have come to California, we've had some great times. Yeah, we've had some good times. Definitely. If you've come to California and gave me a call, be it Prince Hall or any other jurisdiction, you know we've had a good time. That's a fact. And that's what Masonry should be. This is how you know one. This is how you know that person is truly who they say they are. Based upon your interactions, based upon some trials and errors, based upon all of that, you found that person worthy and well qualified. And you was like, yeah, I got him. I'm vouching for that brother. Yeah, we can't sit in the same lodge, but I got him. And the best place you can take care of brothers outside the lodge anyway. Let's just keep it real. That's the best place you can find and take care of brothers outside of the lodge. Working in the healthcare field, I've seen many of brothers come through from various jurisdictions. They have asked me to do certain things for them while they was in the hospital. And they trusted me. They didn't know me from Adams. But because I identified who I was to them, they trusted me. Man, what can you say about that? Now, nothing. That's an experience you won't have with anybody else because of the process of being part of something that's supposed to unite all men. That is what Masonry is supposed to do. Unite all men. It would do that, but most men don't want to be united. Most men put their jurisdictions ahead of the very thing that they say they love. Oh, I love Masonry. But you put your jurisdiction first. And when I say you put your jurisdiction first, you don't pay attention to what you said in your obligation. Now, if your obligation said that you're going to put your jurisdiction first, I'm cool with that, because that's what your obligation said. But if your obligation also says that until I found, you know, when I'm about to go, and you do that, you respond to that. Too many times we allow other people to come and interfere with us, and we find ourselves at odds. I've said this so many times. And we do. We do. You know? We got to stop. We're going to have to stop that. Mac and Prophet, what's going on with you? I hope everything is well. Hiram Grand Lodge, Omega, number 17. What's happening, brother? Brother Armand, sometimes it will be a brother that really don't know at all that will go harder for you than a brother that I am your own lodge, that is in your own lodge as a brother. You should be willing to go above and beyond for your brothers. I agree with that. You should be willing to go beyond for your brothers of the craft and sisters of the order. Because there are some sisters that will roll hard for a brother and for a sister. She will give her all. You know, you shouldn't put a sister out there and she gives her all and you snatch your word from her. Yes, sister, I got you. I'm gonna pick you up today. I'm gonna make sure you get to that appointment. Or sister, yeah, I got you. I'm gonna do this today, and you snatch it. You should have told her, I'm not able to do it, but let me do this here for you. I'm not able to do it, but let me do this. Don't give someone your word and take it from them. Don't do that. Come on now. Brothers of the craft, sisters of the order, don't do that to each other. Don't give your word and snatch it. If you can't complete the task, say I can't complete, but allow me to assist and aid you along your journey. If any of you can go back and remember that movie, The King and I, you know, go back and look at that dialogue between the gentlemen on the train. You know, that gives you an insight on the lingo. That gives you a little insight on, you know, I'm going to go where and do what? That gives you that little like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. I'd like to welcome everybody along tonight. We're talking about how do I know you to be one. So if you are a Mason or a sister of the Order of the Eastern Star, this topic is for you. A EA, a fellow craft, a master Mason, I don't care what your degree or the number behind your degree, this subject is for you. Because we know that there are individuals out there that have books on Masonry, books on the Eastern Star, and they read pretty well. They may have you hook-winged. But have they experienced the initiation? Have they experienced the essence of the charge that is given? See, I can read the charge, but when it's given to you, it's a little different. It's a little different. I can read about the initiation, but until you go through it, it's different. So for those of you who are churchgoers, see, I could talk to you about being a Christian, but until you've been baptized, filled with the Holy Ghost, it's a little different. I'm just saying. That's an initiation too, if you really want to get down to it, but that's another subject. That's for another show. I may call that the initiation of the Christian, but that's another show. You know, so we really have to take into consideration those things that lie before us, because right now, as we are as you are visiting with me on this channel here, and there are people who can't go and visit their loved ones, you know, because right now in California they got check stops, dude. They got stops. Hear me clearly. Right now in California they got checkpoints. They're limiting where you can move and go. Tell me ain't nothing about to pop off. I pray that there's nothing going to pop off, but man, just think about that. I just need for you to be able to open up a little bit more and stop being so closed-minded about what's actually happening around you. Because we're all going to need each other. You know, that's just the truth. We are. Now, whether you want to aid or assist another brother, that's your business. But I'm just letting you know, the way things look at this time and this moment, we're going to need each other. You ever heard of bartering? Some of us may have to go barter. I don't have no money right now, but you know what? I sure know how to hook up utilities. I may have to go and rig it where you can get something from the pole without them knowing, but I can do it. You may have to barter. See, you have to be in this time of the game. You got to think outside the box. Money may not even you may not even be able to get to your money or use your money. They may change the currency on us. They may switch over and go cryptocurrency. Then what? There's so many avenues. There's so many theories out here about what's taking place, what's happening. But we all are experiencing something where we're at dealing with this coronavirus and what's happening right now. Masonry is not alone. It's just part of it's just a microcosm that is part of this big picture that is happening. But as a Mason, as a person who's a member of the Order of the Eastern Star, it may come that time where we may have to just really be that secret society. Think about that. I mean, really give that some serious thought. It may be that time to really be that secret society. It's worthy of thinking. It's worthy of putting it out there. I believe I do have your number. If I don't and you got mine, text me. I'll get it. I will both search my sheep and seek them out. Malcolm Prophet, what's going on with you with that Bible scripture? My Masonic rituals are in many different forms because it varies from lodge to lodge, and jurisdiction to jurisdiction, state to state, country to county, or country to country, culture to culture. It is true. You're absolutely right. True, but it is a corporation or a non-profit. It is, but it was never meant to be that way. Freemasonry, the Order of the Eastern Star, was never meant to be that way. As things progressed, it became more sociable to be an Eastern Star. It became more sociable to be a Mason. Then it became non-profit and corporations, the whole thing. It became more social. It became more of a status thing. But the true essence of Masonry and Eastern Star was never to be in a corporation, because being a Mason, you can select the people who you want to be in your organization. You couldn't be sued. If I have a private organization, you can't sue me, because it is of your own free will and accord. But if you are in a corporation, if you really want to get down, you can be sued because you didn't let John in. That's true. That is a fact. And this is where I think Masonry kind of fell off a little bit, because once Masonry became an incorporation, non-profit and all that stuff, getting grants and all of that stuff, you became more accessible to the public. Freemasonry or the Eastern Stars are private, or it was supposed to be a private organization. Only selected people were supposed to be Masons and Eastern Stars. This is how you was going to be truly able to know one to be one. It was selective. Greetings, Brother Larry Diamond. I appreciate you coming on tonight. Thank you for all the work that you do and keeping this chat room squared away. Thank you. I appreciate that. I have my lodge brothers coming on tonight. Well, welcome on. If you're part of Harem Grand Lodge, Omega Lodge number 17, I definitely want to send you a big shout out. Welcome to the show tonight. He had, I think Brother Harum Grand Lodge has a YouTube channel. If I'm not mistaken, he can correct me if I'm wrong, but he did a YouTube video and I found it to be very interesting. And definitely, that is, hold on, Dad. Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. Bye-bye. You know, when family call, you better pick up the phone. In these times, I'm answering the phone. Okay. Some may say, when they're so unprofessional. No. When family calls, I'm answering the phone. Period. A corporation or a non-profit 50c3. Anyone can go establish their own self-made brand of masonry, and it doesn't make it legit according to ancient customs. Absolutely. It doesn't make them legit. This is why I go back to say Masonry itself was a private organization. It was private. It invited people to come in. Hear me clearly. Masons in the Eastern Star invited people to come in that they selected. What has happened over the past couple of 100 years, it changed. Okay, because the Eastern Star was built for the family, the wives, the daughters, the widows. Okay? The Eastern Star, that's what they was meant for. That changed. Being a Mason was meant for families, and they were selected. That changed. Now you say, well, brother, I'll vouch for you. You know, I think that you're a good guy. You know, you can come on in. Yes, sister, I'll vouch for you, blah, blah, blah. All of that then change now. If we chose to get back to selecting people, we'd probably be a lot better organization all the way around. We would. I think we would. If we got back to selecting people who we seen in the community that amplify the very essence of the organization. If we were selecting people to be Masons and Eastern Stars, we probably would be a better organization. Because as it stands right now, nobody is knocking down the doors of Freemasonry as they once did in the earlier days, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, early 80s. Now, lodges are losing members. Lodges are closing, merging, because Masonry, it has that glit, it has some glow, but not like it used to be. Oh, come on now. If you've been in an organization over 30, 40 years, you know exactly what I'm saying. It doesn't have that glit, that glow like it used to have. Brother Larry Diamond can vouch for that. He can tell you that it was something about being a Mason or an Eastern Star at one point in those days that are long gone, till people was like, oh man, I want to be a part of that. We selected people. They did. Just like presidents are selected by the Electoral College, Freemasonry selected people. Just like Ronald Reagan received his 33rd honorary degree by the ancient and scepter Scottish Rite, they selected him. He was selected. Oh, you didn't know Ronald Reagan was the 33rd degree honorary given to him by the ancient and scepter Scottish Rite? Yeah, it's true. Gerald Ford, past Grand Master. You know, a lot of the presidents were Masons at one time. They were selected. They understood that organization. It meant something to be a Mason. That's why a lot of those who was in the civil rights era, you know, up until the 70s, that's why I call out the 70s and early, it meant something. It meant something to be part of the NAACP. Now you talk about it, people are like, oh man, I don't want to be, because it doesn't have that same punch. You know, it meant something at one time to be Mike Tyson. Because you were scared to get in the ring. If you was a boxer and fight Mike Tyson, you'd be like, oh, hell no. You know? So just as those things have, lost its glitter and glow. Masonry has followed that same trail because we don't select people anymore. We let anyone come into the organization, and this is why it's hard to tell who's really true to the organization. How do you know that person to be one? This is where we're at today. But I guarantee you, if Masonry goes back to selecting people, if Masonry in your jurisdiction go back to those ancient customs, your organization may be a little bit smaller, but damn, you'd be so tight. You'll be the organization that Masonry was meant to be. You would be. Granted, some jurisdictions have 50,000 people. I know here in California, Grand Lodge has close to 52,000 members. Average age is 70. You tell me. You tell me. In the state of California, the ancient free and accepted Mason, there's about 10 active Grand Lodges that I know under the banner of ancient free and accepted Mason. There's about 5,000 to 10,000 members total. The average age, 55 to 60. Average age. Prince Hall, jurisdiction California, they may have about 15,000 members. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I don't know their average age. I don't. So I'm not going to even throw it out there. I'm just letting you know the process. I'm letting you know that Freemasonry is at its core and what it should be, what it used to be, and how did we get here today, and how do we recognize one to be truly who they claim that they are. This is where we're at. Yeah, we know that the fake Masons buy their rings, aprons, collars, and other Masonic regalia. Brother Roger Green from Harem Grand Lodge, Omega Lodge number 17 watching. Welcome there, Roger G. What's going on with you? How you doing? Big shout out to you. Always willing to help a brother and aid him or them at any cost. Yep, as long as you don't put your family in any danger, I will agree. Networking, building, and coming together means as a Mason needs to stop shunning others who seek the light, regardless of his or her past troubles, or even more, stop turning away those who are poor. Boom! I likes that right there. I do. I likes that, because even those Masons in Eastern Stars that have those what you would call jobs that you may not consider them to be, even those sisters and brothers, man, you talking about the core of your organization. Look. Every lodge, every Grand Lodge, every jurisdiction has a core group of people who move the organization forward. Every lodge, every chapter has a core group of people who move that lodge or chapter forward, bar none. You can say whatever you want to say. I don't care if you got 100,000 members. Only a core group of people move that whole organization. Period. That's a fact. I watched Masons turn away a homeless man who was asking brotherly love into the order. It's a damn shame, really. Well, I'm going to tell you this here, brother. I'm going to agree with them turning that homeless man away. I didn't say that it shouldn't help him.